Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wondered why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
In endurance racing, strategy makes the difference between victory and defeat. Introducing Overcut, the all-in-one platform that brings your team together. Manage your teams for iRacing events with seamless Discord integration, stint planning, and real-time intelligent race strategies. Overcut, built by racers for racers.
.66 miles of V8 engines roaring around at nearly 200 miles per hour. It's time for the showdown to start. It's the Pocket Crew Chief Winter Series presented by Spark Racing League, and we're at Talladega to start off an unofficial 3-race chase for the championship. The EPD 169 on the night, 65 laps on the board. Welcome back inside the V-Speed booth. As always, I'm your host, Logan Threlkeld, and here beside me is Sky Shrek. We come back from bye week number 2 on the schedule straight into a race that could completely change the standings with only 3 remaining until we crown a champion in the Spark Racing League. Sky, glad to have you back. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of how our points are looking going into this last 3 races?
Yeah, the points are really tight at the top of the board, and they have been for a couple weeks now. Jacob DeWeese is your points leader after race 7 with 3 to go. Braxton DeWeese right behind him in second, Levi Cox was up there, but he had a bad race last week, 2 weeks ago, ended up out of the race early. He falls back to 3rd. Chris Smith, who had a good race 2 weeks ago, up to 4th. Johnny Rapp, Evan Pienta, your top 6, and then Dylan LeBeau, Justin Wilson, who both got wins this season, along with James Danforth, Jake Maki, Ellis Thomas, and Chase Berry round out your top 12.
And it's tight all the way through. About the top 8 drivers there, separated by about 60 points. In Talladega, notorious for being one of those tracks that just anybody can win. It's anybody's ball game at a super speedway race. We had a really good one to kick off the season. Now we've got a great one on the boards to essentially end the season. We just have the 3 races left, and it's nearly time. But Talladega Super Speedway opened up in 1969. 2.66 miles around, 33 degrees of banking in the corners with 16 degrees across the front tri-oval. So it's a sketchy one at times. We're going to see a lot of pack racing out here. We'll bring up the schedule as well, just to take a look at what we've been through and what we've got left. Started out at Daytona. Feels like forever ago at this point. Then Homestead, Iowa. There's our first bye week. Then a stretch of 4 with Auto Club, Darlington, a road course at Sebring, Charlotte that we saw 2 weeks ago, Talladega tonight for week 8. Then 2 fantastic tracks to finish things off for us, Las Vegas and Atlanta. If my memory serves me correct and information, I believe Atlanta's going to be the 2008 configuration. So that's got some potential to really be a script flip as well on the season. It's all going to come down to who can really drive this car on that track. But our qualifying effort is nearly complete. Just a few more seconds here. We'll get right into our grid. 32 cars on the night. And it looks like we're ready, Sky. What do you say we kick this thing off?
I'd say we are ready to go up here. You want to take it away for the grid, Logan?
Yeah, we'll get her going here as we've got our Evan Pienta Designs Pole Award winner. That's going to go to Braxton DeWeese in the 15 with a 54.586, next to a newcomer on the season, the 81 of Scotty Sobczyk. I hope I'm saying that right, Scotty. Please do not scold me later. You can correct me, though. Second row is going to be Chris Smith in the 28, next to the 54 of Levi Cox. Rob Liedl in the 80 machine will take up the 5th starting spot next to the 27 of Ryan Phillips. 7th is going to go to the 13 of Jake Mackey with the 54.669, next to the 84 of Laura Wiseman. Our last row in the top 10, Robert Brobst in the 5 machine will have the inside line next to the 43 of David Hill.
And starting outside your top 10 tonight, P11 will be Johnny Rapp in the 52. He'll be on the inside of Zachary Mitchell in the 23. 13th tonight will be James Danforth in the 88. Steve Vest on the outside in the 60. Aiden Neese rolls off 15th in the 24. Max Koss 16th in the 63. Benson Weaver in the 1 rolls off 17th tonight with Brian Brobst in the 18th and 11th. Or in the 11 in 18th, my bad. Rounding out your top 20 tonight is Chris French in the 53. Starting 19th, Rye Jones in the 91 will roll off 20th.
Just 12 cars to go as we've got movement on the track. 21st goes the 4 of Nathan Gentry, the 42 of Paul Thomas to the outside. 23rd with no qualifying effort, Jacob Bradley in the 50 next to the 58 of Justin Wilson in 24th. 25th, Jay Heischman in the 06 next to Dylan LeBeau in the 26. 27th goes to Chase Berry in the 46 next to the 9 of Peter Stewart, Sky's favorite paint scheme on the track. 29th will be Ellis Thomas in the 8 next to Jacob Phillips in the 31. There's 2 more to go here. Sean Mulholland in the 39 and Patrick O'Toole will take up the last row starting on the field. We'll get right down here to the track as they are entering turn 3, I believe. Kind of hard to see them from here. But there you go. There's a good look at Talladega, that famous tri-oval everybody knows. Let's get right down to the action here. Front of the pack, Braxton DeWeese and Scotty Sobczyk. The 81 on the outside here. Pace car lights are off. No extra lap needed. Hopefully they don't trick me like they did a couple weeks ago. Make me look like a fool once more. out of turn number 4. There we go. Pace car's coming down. It's time, Sky.
I am so ready. We're going to do 65 laps here at Talladega. And as the drivers enter the tri-oval, they're checking their belts one last time because it is going to be a wild ride around here.
It certainly is. Into the tri-oval we go. Barry the flag man with the flag in the air. The Geico restart zone. Green flag away to start off our 65-lap run. It's a dead even heat right off the rip. However, I am seeing that the 81 has a black flag to start the race. Not sure what happened there. Maybe jumped ahead of the 15 on that restart. Braxton DeWeese down on the bottom line. Chris Smith in tow. This is what it's going to look like for a long time, folks. This is what you call super speedway racing. Side-by-side action. It will not stop until that checkered flag waves. Big wiggle on the bottom row, the 13, the 52, contact all over the place. And it's already mayhem in turn number 3 on lap 1.
Bit of a medium one there mid-pack. Couple drivers got stacked up. It looks like a couple of cars are going to take some pretty major damage already in this race. Wouldn't even get through lap 1.
Let's take it back on the overcut instant replay. Take a look at what happened back here.
We're going to find out for sure. This is starting back. You're looking at Benson Weaver in the 1, Chris French in the 53 towards his mid-pack. And this starts up in front of them there. Benson Weaver gets turned in the ensuing checkup, and it looked like everyone just kind of checked up to avoid someone getting loose in front of them. And it stacked up all throughout the mid-pack.
And there is so much going on here. We'll have to take it back one more time. Some different camera angles for you here. See if we can pinpoint where this all started to happen. You said it started with the 1 of Benson Weaver. Here's the entry. A little bit of a stack up there after seeing the 13 go low. The 24 comes high, gets into max cost. Nathan Gentry tries to avoid it, gets himself into the wall. Looks like the 51 just up ahead, also into the wall. The 9 of Peter Stewart gets sideways as well. It looks like he's not going to have a whole lot of damage up here. Let's see. What was one of these cars that were towards the back of the pack of this? We'll hop on board with them.
Yeah, it just looked like Nathan Gentry kind of got bumped up the road, and then Rye Jones panicked, went low, went high, hit about 3 cars, and that was what spiraled it into a big situation there. We're going to be on board with the 26 of Dylan LeBeau, won a race earlier this year. Needs a good race tonight. You see Rye Jones come down the racetrack, and somehow LeBeau able to make it through on that apron. I don't think he's going to take too much damage from that either.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty clean there for the 26. Got real lucky there with the 51 on the outside, making that contact. I believe it was the 51.
It was Rye Jones, I believe.
The 91 then. Let's go take a look here with Rye Jones.
Yeah, he was running, that Gentry car came up the track, stacked up everybody right in front of him. He got hit from behind, he hit the car in front of him, he hit LeBeau, and it all just kind of spirals out of control.
42 of Paul Thomas involved. There's a lot of carnage there. Let's hop on board with the 91 of Jones this time. A little bit further back now, coming out of 1 and 2. We'll have the whole backstretch, see where things start to fall apart. We know it kind of started with the bobble on the inside line from the 13. And the 52 looked like he had some assistance from behind. And the action starts right about now. There's the scramble. That's where you see everybody. Jones, just a little bit of assistance there, possibly from the rear. Take it back again. There's Paul Thomas. Yeah, there's that slight assistance from the 42. Nothing malicious by any means, but just wrong place, wrong time for the 91 of Jones. Luckily, these drivers have plenty of time on these pace laps to go down into the pits, get some damage repaired, come back out on track with as clean of a race car as you can, because Sky Aero is the most important thing here at a super speedway. They have to get as much of it fixed as possible.
Yeah, that just all started further up. Jake Mackey got tapped from behind by Brobst, had a huge moment, and then that was what started the kind of chain reaction of checkups as everyone thought Mackey was going to go around. He didn't. He made a great save, but everyone behind him kind of overreacted a little bit and all hit each other.
So here comes Dylan LeBeau, the 4 of Gentry behind. Looks like Sean Mulholland in the 39 coming down pit road. A couple more in the back here. Can't quite see the numbers. Looks like the 58 of Wilson pulling in.
Chris
French in there as well. The 11, I believe, is in. 46, that's Chase Berry. He got involved in it, but it's looking like not a whole lot of damage for these drivers here, at least. Got a couple that are still sitting back there in the pits. Nathan Gentry still in the pits. Max Kost, Brian Brobst in the pits. Apologize, Max Kost is not in the pits. It's the 4 of Gentry, the 11 of Brobst, and the 42 of Paul Thomas.
A couple other cars came down too. I think Patrick O'Toole was in as well. Paul Thomas, Brian Brobst already going laps down from that moment, and it's going to really hurt them. Would also like to note, Jacob Bradley, winner of the last 2 races, did not end up joining the session tonight. He never took the green flag. He is our points leader coming into this, so that is gonna be something to watch over these next couple weeks.
That is huge for the 15 of DeWeese, who did make the session, and he's only 11 points back. So DeWeese, assuming he has a good finish here on the night, will come away with the points lead going into the final 2 races. Unfortunate to see Jacob Bradley not making the field. It was boiling down to be a very tight finish whenever it comes to the points, whenever we get to Atlanta.
It is going to be for sure. You know, Atlanta always puts on great finishes in championship battles. It's been iconic for that when it was the championship venue for NASCAR. So many great title deciders there. I don't think this one will be any different.
Went around the tri-oval. Geico restart zone coming up here. Levi Cox on the outside, Rob Liedl on the inside. Row 1, green flag back in the air, and we're away with the top row getting a massive jump. Levi Cox puts about a car length and a half over Liedl. Immediately drops down to the bottom. That's where he wants to be. The bottom line is the most important. You have the most room to navigate. If something does happen, you can drop down to the apron, get around it as best as you can. That top line needs to start closing those gaps if they want to make a run back up towards the front. But keep in mind, it's only lap 5 as we do see movement from the bottom to the outside. I believe that's the 8 of Ellis Thomas. Yeah, right there behind the 13 of Jake Mackey.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It can be really difficult if you're kind of stuck on the top line and everything starts to happen in front of you. It always seems like cars tend to wreck up towards the wall here, and it can be really easy to get involved in that. Ry Jones is in the middle of a 3 wide right now. He is going to get to that middle line, and as he does so, that car further back of Jay Heichman is going to get pushed right out of line. He'll drop back a couple positions. He'll fall in behind Scotty Sobczak.
Ryan Jones picks up 3 positions from that move. He saw the hole and he went for it. Early to do so, but works out in his favor. We will likely see at least one green-white checkered attempt, or not green-white checkered attempt, one pit cycle through this race. There is one green-white checkered attempt at the end of this. Laura Weissman claims the lead for just a moment coming down the backstretch here. They likely get a good run off the top here if the 15 of DeWeese can close that gap. See them make a run up towards the front. Will they get there in time before the start-finish line? Well after the tri-oval apex. Doesn't look like they'll get the run they need. Levi Cox still holds the lead. Rob Liedl right behind the 27 now, having some connection issues there. Ryan Phillips will keep an eye on him.
Ry Jones is really going for it. He's been trying to make moves. We saw him in the middle. Now he's that one car alone all the way on the top. He's dropped a couple spots because no one seems to want to go with him, but to counteract that, he's been side drafting for his life every time around. He's not going to be able to quite get in. He'll finally be able to pull down there in between Ellis Thomas and Scotty Sobczak back there. Just a couple spots behind where he was before that. He's really trying to make moves and get aggressive here, but I don't know if anybody else wants to be quite as aggressive as he does.
Well, there is one person who's maybe not so much been aggressive, maybe more so lucky, but it's the 8 of Ellis Thomas, up 18 positions so far since the start. Now back to 17, but started out in 28th, all the way up to 11th already. We're not even 10 laps into this.
Oh, and some of those laps are under caution, too. He dodged that big accident, and it did a good job of getting him up through the field, and now he's able to run up there in a much better position up here towards the top 10. I think we're going to see it stay like this, double file, but nothing too aggressive happening for the next little bit. Once we get that pit cycle out of the way and all these drivers are set to go for the end of the race, that's when the chaos is really going to begin. That top line of Laura Wiseman is trying to make it work.
And Wiseman gets turned at the same time.
Round goes the leader. Levi Cox is barrel rolling.
Oh, and this one's going to collect almost the entire field. Wiseman goes for a spin after contact with the 80 from that bottom row. Oh, my goodness. That is not what you want to see.
I got immediately proven wrong there when I said they weren't going to get too aggressive here. Ooh.
Good old commentator's curse at play. We'll take it back on the Overcut instant replay, and we'll try to break down as much as we can here.
That was the big one for sure. That took out a lot of your leaders, a lot of cars through the field. Yeah, that car just got moved out of line there. That was the 80 of Rob Liedl. Kind of got moved out of line as he was going for position. I don't know if Laura Wiseman realized that he had gotten moved out of line, and he ended up having 3 spots in the space of about, or 3 cars in the space of about 2.5 cars. 84 got turned, hooked Levi Cox, and it all spiraled downhill from there.
Man, there's just a lot to unpack here. Take it back a little bit further, try to get it to where they're coming out of turn number 3. We'll hop on board now with Laura Wiseman. To the inside is Liedl. Wiseman leaves a little bit of a gap there between the 54. Then it all unfolds from there. Rob Liedl gets a little bit loose on the bottom. I think maybe contact with that double yellow line.
He got bumped up by the Ryan Phillips car behind him.
Back again here. We'll focus on Liedl this time. The 27 of Phillips giving a little bit of a tap here. We'll keep an eye on that. And there's that contact. Just a little bit of a side swipe there. Just sends Liedl up to the middle lane. And everybody's trying to avoid it. The 88 gets involved. Looks like the 60 of Vest. He's going to get a little bit of a tap. 53 of Chris French gets through it pretty cleanly, it looks like. Got the 44 down there on track. I'm not entirely positive who that is. I cannot find. It's Patrick O'Toole. Patrick O'Toole makes it through.
If we got time, you might want to do an onboard with that 44 car because he had a really wild view of that accident.
Absolutely. Let's hop inside here.
Yeah, he's going to come. He's kind of just running in the mid-pack here. And then all of a sudden, he's got cars airborne in front of him. Going to drift it through the grass, go through the pace car, tap from behind from Chris French, but he keeps it together. Only escapes with a little right rear damage. He's your new leader after all this.
O'Toole being the biggest benefactor from that one. Just want to let you know, that's 30 positions gained for the 44 machine now.
That is amazing for that 44 car. Just got to stay out of the accidents, mind your own business. He's got a little damage, but it won't be too bad. He's looking in really good shape. A lot of cars have made that move down pit road, mostly for damage repair. I think it's still too early in the race for anyone to make it on fuel at this point. But with that, only 3 cars, it looks like, O'Toole, Ryan Phillips, and David Hill, your top 3, have been able to stay out. So many cars have had to bring it down to fix damage.
A little bit of race analysis for you. 65 laps, as we've already discussed, a pit road speed of 55 miles per hour. 3 tire sets available on the night. Some of these drivers already having to use one of those sets after getting involved in either one of these incidences. One green-white checkered attempt at the very end, and as we were just talking about the fuel capacity, 85% fuel load, so it definitely won't get us all the way to the end. If my math is correct, that should bring us right around a 25 to 28 lap run of green flag racing. So potential is seeing a 2-stopper, but with the cautions that we've had at this point, I feel like these drivers could make it to the halfway mark and then take that one necessary fuel stop, get back out on the track, start turning laps again, see what they can do.
Yeah, and it's going to be fuel only here. Tires don't really play a role in this track unless you get in one of those big accidents and you burn them up. Even then, you're going to pit for damage repair anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you put 4 on or not. This is all about just a quick fuel stop, and usually at tracks like this, when it comes down to fuel mileage, we like to see cars run it as far as possible, so they have to put as little fuel in the car as possible, and they can get out of there with a quicker pit stop. I think we're going to see cars run it until it's just about empty, while still making sure they've got other cars to pit with.
One thing to keep in mind, too, you know, the track position early on in the race means nothing. It's all about avoiding these incidences as long as you can and just try to cross that checkered line in the best spot possible. Obviously, that's how you want to kind of approach every race, but with super speedways, you know, the last lap is really the only one that matters. You can find yourself in a good position to attack the leader or defend as the leader. You have to play your cards right, but it's not an easy task by any means.
It is not. Completely new look, kind of top few cars here for this restart. Patrick O'Toole, 31st to 1st on the inside. Ryan Phillips on the outside. Robert Brobst is going to start back in 4th. David Hill in 3rd. Scotty Sobczak went back to the field, but has gotten himself back up to 5th. And then Chris French, Sean Mulholland also appeared in these first few rows.
Pace car is off. Back to the Geico restart zone for the 3rd time tonight. Patrick O'Toole on the inside will lead us to the green flag, and it's away. A good jump from the bottom line for O'Toole. The 27 gets a decent jump here, clears the 43. He'll be able to come down behind the 44. 53 of French does so. There goes the 27. That's going to leave the 5 of Brobst all alone on the top row. We'll see that 5 car slide all the way back once they get up to speed. See that gap right behind. There is no help anywhere nearby. There comes Chris French back to the top line here, and a good run now for those two.
They're going to see if they can get it going here. I don't think this is the position Patrick O'Toole thought he would be in 12 laps into this race when he started this thing in last. He is all the way up here leading this race, and he's getting some pretty big pushes from Ryan Phillips. If you remember back just a couple minutes ago, push gone wrong from Ryan Phillips was what caused the last accident. You already see O'Toole getting a little squirrely up here from them. And that is Brobst. That outside line working really well. He's not going to lead the lap, or he will barely lead the lap by .024. And he is going to challenge for the lead now on lap 13.
One thing I noticed there through turn number 3, Ryan Jones right back to the middle here, 3 wide down the backstretch again for the 91. Got Scotty Sobczak on the inside. Vincent Weaver on the outside, fans everything out. Ryan Jones not afraid to insert the 91 to that middle lane. Trying to claw as many positions up here as possible. The 27 dips down below that double yellow line. Robert Brobst, apologize. Yeah, no, that is the 5 of Robert Brobst. He'll claim a lap lead officially here. There's no contest about that one. Now it's time for Chris French to get a good round around the outside with the help from the 9 of Peter Stewart.
What's that one Ayrton Senna quote? If you don't go for a gap, you're not a race car driver. I think that is probably blaring in Ryan Jones's ears right now. It has been for the last 15 laps. because anytime he sees an opportunity to get somewhere, if he has to try to make a pass through the middle, if he has to try to ride it up around the wall, he has been willing to take it. Chris French drops down to the bottom and then tries to cut back up to the top in front of Peter Stewart. He is barely going to get that spot, but he's going to cost that outside line the run, and that'll let Robert Brobst get back even down the front straightaway.
But with a little bit of help here, French does have the lead. Is he going to get a lap led? And it is tight across the line, but the 53 does it. That'll be a bonus point for French.
He gets that done. Couple different drivers leading laps here already in this race. O'Toole, another driver who's got some laps led back there in third. Peter Stewart doesn't have any yet. He's another driver that's gone all the way through the field, starting out back in 27th tonight, and he is pushing that 53 of French hard, trying to get himself up to the lead.
Now, I'm no fortune teller, Sky, but I'm looking at that 91 of Jones. I don't want to say they look impatient by any means, but I have to say, as soon as the 91 gets clear of the 5, that'll be an immediate drop down to the bottom lane. It looks like that gap's going to close up now as the 44 a little bit loose through the tri-oval. There goes the 27 again with the connection issues. The 52, Johnny Rapp all over the back bumper of the 9. That's another thing we haven't talked about either, Sky. These cars overheating whenever you get to the pack racing like this, nose to tail. You have to keep an eye on the oil and the water temperature as the 44 of O'Toole drops all the way down below the double yellow.
Didn't
That
like
might
what he
have
was
been
seeing up there.
either that or that could have very well been, exactly what I was talking about there. Potential overheating issue for the 44. Saw the gauges flashing red. Decided to get out of there before anything bad happened in front of the field. Back up towards the front. It's a drag race to the finish line once more between the 53 and the 5. Brobst has the advantage on the inside line here. He's going to get it by, oh my goodness, I think French got it right at the very end.
He did. He barely got it. I want to know with these top 3 cars on pit strategy, French, Brobst, and Peter Stewart all came down and pit on that last caution, but they came down for fuel only. Quick little 5-second stops. The cars who have not pitted for fuel since the start of this race are Ryan Phillips and David Hill of the cars who are still up in this top pack. So those are the ones you kind of want to be watching right now. That is going to be interesting to watch as we come down through the rest of this race, because while we didn't run that many green flag laps on the first stint, you mentioned how close a lot of these drivers are on the line between it being a 1 or 2 stop race. That extra pit stop on about lap 7 or so could end up being what makes the difference.
Outside line gets the better run that time around. Chris French back to the lead. In the corners, that inside line has all the momentum. Even though you can see just how spaced out the drivers are on the bottom line, where the top, we have 5 in a row, nose to tail. Looks like a 6th and a 7th going to come into play here. That bottom line, only the top 3 are bumper to bumper here. Benson Weaver leaves a gap between himself and David Hill. And the 39 of Sean Mulholland currently sitting in 10th. He's going to leave some distance to the back bumper of the 1. Looks like that bottom line now starting to close up. The 5 was clear of the 53 momentarily, did not move up in the line. And it looks like it's going to be Brobst once more as the top line starts to fall apart there. Peter Stewart gets a little bit wide through the tri-oval. Falls right back into the second spot of the outside line.
Ry Jones is still getting a little squirrely out there. We've seen him take little peeks up to the top, but he hasn't done it yet, and I don't think he's going to get anywhere. Well, I say that. He's going to try it. I was about to say he's not going to get anywhere because he's got such a huge gap behind him. That 88 car at James Danforth, who's kind of way out back, not taking it too fast. And yeah, there's just such a big gap behind Ry Jones. He's got no help up there. He can try going to the top all he wants, but without anyone else willing to go with him, he's just wasting a little fuel and then pulling right back in line.
There's a little bit of strategy to it. You can definitely keep your temperatures in check by doing so, but you're certainly not going to help the fuel cell extend any longer than what it can. Right now you see about the half lane up from the driver in front. That's going to be, I believe, the 24 of Aiden Neese. Oh, and a big run to the inside here. Neese closes the door. Said, I've seen you do it one too many times, Ryan. Not this time. I'm staying in front of you.
Yeah, and he's kind of just got the issue now where because he doesn't have any help, he keeps backing up and trying to get these like long slingshot moves because he doesn't have anyone behind him. But him trying to do these long slingshot moves every time around is hurting every other car in that top line because the car behind them is struggling to get back up to him because Ryan Jones is swerving in and out of line. And the cars ahead of him don't have the same push as the inside line does because they've got less cars packed together up there. He's trying to get moves going, and I think he just needs someone to go with him because otherwise it's not going to work both for him and for this outside line as a whole. He's backing it up, and I think he's trying to get ready to do another slingshot type move, but he doesn't have anywhere to do it, and he'll just go right back to the bumper of Neese.
If the 8 of Ellis Thomas and the 44 of Patrick O'Toole would get back to the back bumper, the 91, I think that move is possible. You could definitely see a third line form on the outside that could really start to challenge and make these crosses at the start finish a whole lot more, I don't want to say exciting as if it's not already exciting, but for lack of better words, exciting.
You can do it with 3 cars. Like if you get 3 cars together, you can absolutely form a line on that top. And if you've got 3 cars together, people are going to be much more willing to go with you because you've got that kind of pack established. Ryan Jones doesn't have 1 car, much less 2, who seem interested in going with him right now. He's going to try it again, and neither of the 2 cars behind him are going to pull out of the line, and none of the 4 cars ahead of him are really going to pull out of line either. So he's just going to go to the top, he'll cool the engine, burn a little fuel, and then he's going to pull right back in where he started, and maybe he'll try the middle again next time.
He's got even more distance now to the back bumper. Ellis Thomas playing it safe, giving himself plenty of room to make any necessary changes in direction if something was to go down in front. After seeing the 2 that we've already had this race, I can't say I blame him one bit.
No, we've already lost like a third of the field tonight. I think these guys at the back are just trying to not be in the next third of the field that we lose. We get another big one, and that last one started right at the front of the field, so even if you're up there, you're not safe. We get another big one. Safest spot to be is 2 seconds back, just chilling, waiting for it to happen, saving fuel, biding your time, and then once that next caution hits and that next round of pit stops hit, you'll be safer to go up there and try to challenge for the lead.
Just a quick run through our drivers who are on early exit strategies already. 15 of DeWeese is out. Rob Liedl is off track, but almost 15 minutes spent in the pits getting damage repaired. Likely won't see the 80 machine back out on track. Jay Heisman off. Levi Cox in the 54, he's out of the race. Laura Weissman still in the pits, just like Liedl, but for almost 17 minutes on the 84 machine. Then Zachary Mitchell, Brian Brobst, Nathan Gentry, and Paul Thomas all out of the race almost 20 laps ago.
In a race of attrition here, particularly with that big one at the front of the field that took so many cars out. I mean, that is like all of our championship contenders right there, I feel like. The top 3 coming into this race were Jacob Bradley, who missed the start of the race, did not take the green flag. Levi Cox, 26th out of the race. And Braxton DeWeese, 27th, also out of the race. So these are all guys who really, really needed big point stays, and they are just not going to get it right here. This leaves the door wide open for Chris Smith in that 28 car, because he came into this race 4th. He's the only one of the top 4 that is actually still on the racetrack right now. He's riding 17th, not really doing anything in particular, just going to wait and bide his time at the back because he knows all of his competition is done. And maybe he'll go up there at the end, try to get a great points day, vault himself up into the top couple spots.
One thing to mention there on the 28 machine, you see it on the outside line, no damage on the back bumper. It's going to be important whenever it comes down to the end of this race. 28, if he can keep the car clean, he's got a good shot. Ryan Jones to the outside line once more. He's going to try it. He makes a whole lot more ground up this time than he has previously. Nearly up to the second row. He is side by side now with the 9 of Peter Stewart. He's going to lose that momentum now on the top line. Will likely fall back in behind here up to 24 of Nice once more. 91 not afraid of the 3 wide.
And I know this battle at the lead has been so tight, but because of Rye Jones and the way that outer pack is loosened, Robert Brobst has led almost all of these laps over Chris French. Chris French has only gotten 1 or 2 in, and it is because that inside lane has been so prevalent, and now we got to move at the front. Chris French got the run, dropped down to the inside, and then they lost the run again. So now, clear 1 and 2 at the front of this field are going to be Peter Stewart and Johnny Rapp. And now Johnny Rapp cuts down to the inside, so Peter Stewart is alone on the top. It is Johnny Rapp, Aiden Neese, Chris French, your top 3 on the inside.
Let's take a quick replay here and see how that sequence all played out at the front of this pack.
Yeah, you're going to see it
happen.
happen.
Already moved down. There's Stewart and Rapp both clear. There goes the 24 of Nice in line. There's that run that Ryan Jones won, and now he's going to be second in line on the top row. A great sequence there for the 52 to put himself up at the lead.
He's not going to be second on the top row anymore because he already forced it 3 wide and got rid of Peter Stewart. So he's running up there on the top, but he is basically alone. He's got no one in front of him, and Peter Stewart is really lagging back behind him. Same with Ellis Thomas. So that has let this top 5 of Rapp, Nice, French, Brobst, and Phillips get clear on the inside. David Hill back in 6th, trying to come with as well. Rye Jones' first car on the outside has gone all the way back to 7th. Still rolling here, and almost an incident there as 43 of David Hill got really high up the racetrack, almost contact into Rye Jones. We keep it good. That outside is, I guess it's starting to tighten up a little more, but Rye Jones is definitely going to need more help than that to compete with the massive line that is the inside as they continue to run away with this.
Oh,
Chris
more
French,
movements.
yeah, jumps up there.
So French is going to lead the outside line. This will be a good charge down the backstretch, especially if the 9 of Stewart can catch back up to Ryan Jones. The 3-car tandem up on top here.
That might give Rye Jones the help he needs to try to get that lead he has been foaming at the mouth for the last 29 laps now. He's won it. He's tried to get himself up through the field basically every possible way. Hasn't been able to do it yet. We'll see if he can push Chris French and try to get something going on his own here. We're getting close to halfway in this race, and we're side by side out front between Johnny Rapp and Chris French.
Just a few laps away from that halfway mark, and 2 cautions so far. Pretty well immediately following the start of this race, but now we've been clean and green for about 21 laps. Johnny Rapp, Chris French, Aiden Neese now in the picture up here. A lot of movement from those top 3. Rapp up 10 positions, Neese up 13, Chris French up 16. A little bit further back in 7th, Peter Stewart is up 20. Then Sean Mulholland in 10th is also up 20. So some big time movers. See if they can collect any more. They still have 5 to 9 spots available. Let's see if they can do anything about it, Sky.
I think it's just going to be difficult for this outside to really get the move they need, because the outside is not as tight unless these cars up here start to get going. And they're actually going to, looks like they might try to form a third line here. That is the 58 of Justin Wilson. He's hopped up to the outside of Ellis Thomas. Watch Rye Jones to go with him. He's going to look like he wants to go with them. I think he's going to wait for them to get a little closer and maybe try something. But we've got a run. Third lane starting to form, being led by the 58 of Justin Wilson right now. There goes Rye Jones.
There's that additional car that they might just need. Dylan LeBeau's behind the 88 of James Danforth. Last we saw him right behind the 26. There's the big run. That middle line's going to fall all the way back behind Chris French in a danger zone right now. He's going to get out of it now. To the bottom line goes the 53. Peter Stewart still stuck in the middle. No help anywhere in sight. There we go to the top line for the 9 machine. And here comes Jones, looking to lead his first lap of the race. Justin Wilson right behind. See if Johnny Rapp and company about to run back up towards the front. And there goes Jones to the bottom line. He wants that lap led bad.
He does, and I think he's going to finally get it here, although as we come up on halfway, that one lap led for Rye Jones is not really going to sate his appetite at all. He wants to lead all of them, and we'll see if he got it. Oh, he didn't even get it. Justin Wilson got the run on the top with the push from Dylan LeBeau behind, stole that lap led. Rye Jones doesn't have it yet.
I think Wilson had that lap by .013. That is a close margin there. That'll make for an exciting finish if we can see that type of number at the end of this race.
Oh, I love that. You go 3 wide across the line, the tandem drafting style like we had like 10 years ago here. That'd be awesome.
Indeed it would. Now it's a big run here for the bottom. Ryan Jones should get that lap led this time. Got about 2 cars clear of the top lane. There it is, the 91 with the first lap led of the race. There's the big run now from the outside. Coming into turn 1, they're going to lose that momentum in that 3-car tandem. Coming down the backstretch, they should get another run. Justin Wilson will challenge for that top spot. Ooh, oh man, I was keeping my eye on the 44 back there. Patrick O'Toole stepped out of line again. Had me worried there was something wrong with the 44.
I don't think we're going to be too far from the pit window now. I think this is around the time where we're going to see cars maybe start to try a pit stop, bring it down, and make something happen here. Right now, these cars are all staying in line, but as we mentioned earlier, there are some cars out there, guys like David Hill, Ryan Phillips, that are still have not come down pit road to get more fuel. These drivers are running on an 85% fuel limit tonight, so expect those guys to need fuel really soon, and for their sake, they're hoping they can pull some more cars down with them.
Now that's going to be one major key here to keep yourself in this race is the 52 of Rapp all over the back bumper now, Ryan Jones. Looks like the leader there got a little bit loose from that contact, but able to collect it back up. But anyways, the key to keeping yourself in this race is having a crew of at least 3 or 4 drivers to come down with you. That way you can all team up, get back in line, and start turning some fast laps to catch up with the group ahead if you're not already in the lead. So the strategy is going to come down to team play.
For sure, you need to have some guys who are going to be willing to come down with you, get that pit stop at the same time you are, because if you come down alone, you come down with only one other car. If we get around to that pit cycle and it's just Ryan Phillips and David Hill, they are going to be in major trouble for the rest of this race, because you cannot really draft here alone in a pack of 2 cars. You're going to need at least 3 or 4 to come with you to make this work. These guys who pit a little bit later are in a better position because they have more recently put fuel in it, but some of these guys further back, they can't go much longer, especially now that we're getting into the fuel window to where you'd be good to the end of the race.
Now, I will say my math could very well be incorrect. It's, the B-Speed broadcasters, it's been a running joke among other leagues that we are not very good at math on the fly. But I do see the 5 of Robert Brobst has started his 35th lap of the stint. Also see the 43 of David Hill is on lap 37 of this stint. So I'm going to have to go back on my words. That 25 to 28 lap fuel window has to be incorrect. So we might see these guys go until about lap 50 before they need any fuel. Then it's just a 15 lap sprint to the end.
Yeah, with that 85% fuel limit though, that takes quite a few laps off the amount you can run. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I took Calculus 3, barely passed it. I don't even know how to calculate the pit path half the time. It is hard to do, both when you're in the car and when you're not in the car. I think these drivers are going to stretch it as long as possible, because basically what you need to do is just make the stop as short as possible so that you're able to come out quicker and you don't waste time sitting on pit road putting too much fuel in.
You know what I think that's a great segue into is a shout out to one of the sponsors, Overcut Sim Endurance Planner. That is exactly what that application is built for. And it all comes down, it's really meant for the road course racing style and endurance racing as a whole. To plan out your fuel stints and driver swaps throughout the course of an event. But look at this, it's the 26 of Dylan LeBeau. He got a big run around the outside. Now he's going to collect a lap lead. It's going to leave James Danforth in the lead of the outside line. Peter Stewart right behind. Justin Wilson on the bottom behind LeBeau.
Coming up on lap 40 now. The lap's starting to run down in this race for these drivers. Dylan LeBeau is looking for his second win on the season. He got one, speaking of pit strategy, on pit strategy at Homestead. Right behind him in that 58 is your winner from the last plate race we ran. Justin Wilson got it done in the season opener at Daytona. No one else in the top 10 has gotten a race win this year, with Jacob Bradley, Braxton DeWeese, and Levi Cox all out of the race. They were the drivers who won the last 5 races, so we're going to get someone new for the first time since at least Homestead tonight.
And Dylan LeBeau in a great spot right now. He can hold it down here through the pit cycle. Put win number 2 on the board for the 26th. 58 also in a perfect position. If the race was to end this lap, that's what these guys would be here for. It'd be a battle between those two for sure. But
look who,
again, it's Talladega. We've mentioned it a couple times already. Talladega is anybody's race. We might see a late race run all the way from the back of the pack. As here we go. Here's a pit cycle coming through. Johnny Rapp's going to lead the charge. Danforth to the inside. The 24 of Nice as well. Chris French, Chris Smith, Ellis Thomas all in. The 60 of Steve Vest is there as well to bring up the backpack of this first group coming in for a pit cycle.
Man, some of those guys cut it a little close on the pit road speed limit there, but it seems everybody, at least in that front group, got it in time. A lot of cars coming down top 5, still out. LeBeau, Wilson, Jones, Stewart, and Chase Berry. This is very, very bad news for Jake Mackey, Sean Mulholland, and the 31 of Jacob Phillips, because they have absolutely no help right now. They are 3 cars alone, and it looks like they're likely going to have to pit alone, or at least come down pretty far back. They are going to be in trouble if they can't get with these guys, and we're going to have some lockups. I don't think LeBeau made it.
I don't see a flag yet on the 26, but that surely was a close one. He was able to get it down to speed, but he blows through the pit box, so that's going to be the waste of about a half second for the 26. He will not cycle back out to the lead. Looks like the 46 going to be the first one out of the box, spinning. And here comes LeBeau. So he led the group in. Now he's going to be back here with Sean Mulholland and Peter Stewart coming out at the end of this pack. There goes the 13 of Mackey, who we were just talking about being in a bad spot. He'll cycle out ahead of LeBeau. Goes Chase Berry leading the group out. Justin Wilson kept his position, but Chase Berry gained a couple there. Ryan Jones in third. Jacob Phillips. Jake Mackey behind Phillips. Dylan LeBeau behind Mackey. Here comes the first group that pit. being led by Chris French. James Danforth behind, Neese, Smith, and Ellis Thomas. They've got all the speed that they could want. They'll make this pass easy around the first couple of cars. Jacob Phillips, Jake Mackey, they'll be able to slide in behind and pick up the draft here. So that's going to be a good benefit for them. Now they have plenty of time to catch back up to just our 3-car lead. Chase Berry, Justin Wilson, Ryan Jones, all by themselves right now. They've got a slurry of race cars that's going to have a whole heck of a lot more speed than they do.
I think Dylan LeBeau is extremely lucky he did not get a black flag there, because I just went back and I looked. When he crossed that yellow pit entry line, he was going about 7 over the speed limit. He got it slowed down, and I think if we go by sector times, he went slow enough for the rest of that first stretch of pit road that he likely made it out without a black flag, but he escaped that one by the skin of his teeth.
Just keeping an eye now on our leaders. That gap is closing to Chris French. It was just at 2.4, now 2.3. I would say by turn 3, we'll see that second group all over our 3 cars here in the lead.
Single file up here for now. I think we're going to see these cars go double file once they get up to that front line, as they're going to try to roll around them. Interested to see how well that actually works. We know all these drivers are going to be good to the end of the race, so now it's just a matter of driving all out, getting all you can, and trying to move your way back up the field. We know this race can be anyone's game. I think one driver who wants it to be his game is Chris Smith. This is his best possible opportunity to close in on the points lead. He could get it done here tonight, and he could jump himself up to first or second.
That would be ever so important. Let's bring up our points one more time here, just to take a quick recap of where everybody sits. Jacob Bradley, who did not make the race, will lose the points lead going into week number 8. Braxton DeWeese with the early exit, not going to help out the 15 machine. Levi Cox in the same boat here. For Smith, he has an opportunity, if he can win this race, to take over the points lead going into the last couple of races. Johnny Rapp in the 52, we've seen him up at the front already tonight, now back in 12th. See if he can change anything for the luck of the 52 team, as Chris French now to the outside of our 3-car tandem. They've caught back up now. Get these points off the screen so you guys can actually see the battle. It's side by side once more at the lead. I'm going to cross to start lap 46. We are at 20 to go, Sky.
This is going to be intense coming down to the end of this race. Look at how tight these cars are. Look at how much more intense the pushing is. Everybody is trying to go for the lead. No one is leaving space like they were at the start of this race. We're used to seeing a couple cars kind of hanging off the bag, not trying too hard. Everybody is going for it now as we tick under 20 to go. Still holding the lead is that 46 car at Chase Berry, but he's got a whole line of cars that want to pass him on the outside.
Chase Berry doing a great job. Now it's going to be coming down to if he can control both lanes whenever it gets to late in this race, assuming the 46 is still up at the front of this pack. Anything can happen at any given moment. Oh, contact just as I was saying that between our leaders. Chris French is going to get back in the lead here. We'll bring that ticker back up on screen. Now we're starting to wiggle around as these cars are trying to side draft. Oh, the 53 gets sideways. And that's going to collect a couple more at the back of the pack, but no caution. Johnny Rapp. Oh, there it is. Finally, that yellow flag comes out. Oh, man.
That's going to take a couple cars out. If there was not that contact from behind, I think Chris French had that saved somehow, and we would have stayed good. That was an unreal save to keep that 53 car going straight.
We'll take it back here on the overcut replay and hop on board with the 53, see what it looked like from his perspective. Not quite far back enough. There is the 53. completely sideways, touches the right rear to the wall, gets some contact from the rear. That's going to be Phillips there behind in the 31. Then you can see all the smoke from everybody else down on the apron. Look at how close this is. Let's hop back with Johnny Rapp and see what it looked like from around that 52, why he ended up so low. And then we'll also have to take a look at the 8 of Ellis Thomas. I noticed his hood was missing after that. So there goes the 52. He just got collected by Mackey after he got hit. 28 of Chris Smith gets through it with a little bit of a touch, but nothing too bad. That was the 8 of Thomas getting into the back bumper of the 52. That's why he has no hood now. Let's take it back and see what it looks like from inside the car. Right about here, there goes the 53. Everybody shuffling down out of the way. And just not enough time to get on the brakes. Ooh, I didn't realize that collected the 60 of Steve Vest as well. With the wall, the race looks like Benson Weaver picks up a black flag. Peter Stewart has a meatball. And Rob Liedl, and it's official for Liedl having that meatball. Back to the live shot here. Oh, the 8 of Thomas gets sideways into the box. Let's take it back a couple seconds here and see what happened there.
That's definitely not ideal for him at all. Couple cars making that move down pit road, trying to fix damage and get themselves back going before the end of this race. A lot of cars taking some damage there. With all these wrecks, it's almost a race of attrition. Who doesn't wreck is going to be who's there at the end.
Not sure what happened to the 8 there. Maybe some braking issues or spotter not getting the right stall called out. Finally gets into the box there. Back to the live shot. It's now the 44 of Patrick O'Toole will pull out of his pit stall. The 1 of Benson Weaver also was missing a hood after that. He's down getting some damage repaired. Back out to the track. Chase Berry, Justin Wilson, Ryan Jones, Dylan LeBeau, Robert Brobst will be your top 5. Aiden Neese, Scotty Sobczyk, Chris French, Ryan Phillips, David Hill will be the back half of the top 10 whenever we get to this restart.
One thing I always kind of love about Daytona and Talladega is that your qualifying result very often has absolutely no indicator on where you end up finishing the race. Chase Berry started 26th. He's leading. Justin Wilson started 23rd. He's second. Rye Jones, 20th, is third. Dylan LeBeau starting 25th is fourth. And the highest up car in the top 5, James Danforth in 5th, started all the way back in 13th tonight. Feels almost like the inverse of a regular race, where if you start further back, you've got a better chance to win, because everybody who started up front is now out of the race.
Just to kind of put it in perspective, as it runs from our number 1 position back to the 5th spot, we have 25 positions gained, 21 positions gained, 17 positions gained, 21 positions gained, and 10 positions gained for Aiden Neese. So all of these drivers starting mostly in the middle of the field towards the back of the pack have found their way up to the front. Just like you said, Sky, the guys that started at the front of this race have found an early exit. It's again, that's Talladega. That's what you come to expect at a racetrack like this. 2.66 miles around, and like I said at the beginning, nearly 200 miles per hour as they're doing so. It doesn't.
You want to
go ahead.
I was gonna say, you want to look at the cars who start in the top 5. Braxton DeWeese, DNF. Scotty Sobczyk, he had that start penalty. He jumped the start, got a black flag. He was at the back when that accident occurred, so he's managed to wheel it up to 7th. Chris Smith, 16th, got some damage on that car from that last accident. And then it's Levi Cox, DNF, Rob Liedl, DNF. Started at the front, you might be out of the race. Started at the back, you're probably in the top 5.
Well, just since we've got some time here left on this last pace lap, might as well remind everybody watching, don't forget about that Team Goon Squad Fans Choice Award. You can go down to the video description and vote for your favorite driver or their favorite paint scheme, which they will be rewarded with a $50 merch gift card at the end of the season, whichever driver gets the most votes throughout the course of our 10 races. Keep in mind, this being the last of the 3. So very limited opportunity to get your votes in. If you haven't all season long, you might as well start now. Pace car is off. Chase Berry will lead us to the green flag this time with Justin Wilson to the outside. Geico restart zone coming up here. And green flag waving once more. Berry with a good jump off the bottom. That's not quite what you want to see this late in the race. You want a little bit more assistance to try to get out of the way, but he's going to elect to go to the top line, hoping that the 58 of Wilson doesn't get clear of Ryan Jones. Back to the bottom goes Berry.
We're under 15 to go now, so the intensity is only going to ratchet up, especially with these cars on the top that have been stuck together. Wilson and LeBeau. Those are your only 2 drivers still in the field who have managed to win a race this year. Everybody else is looking for win number 1, and with only 2 races left after this, they're running out of opportunities. It's going to be a mad scramble, the guys trying to get their first win of the season, except for LeBeau and Wilson, who are going to be in a mad scramble looking for number 2. Like you said, anybody's ball game, 14 to go.
This is where you see those crazy maneuvers that we've come to find regular for the 91. 3 wide maneuvers. I would expect to see all that energy ramp up, just like you said, Sky. It's going to be a good finish here, especially after stacking up the entire field with so few laps to go.
And there's no strategy, there's no pit stops, there's no fuel saving. It is all out for all of these cars for the remainder of this race. That inside line has the better momentum right now. Berry has done a great job out front, being pushed by Rye Jones in the 91. But that outside lane of Wilson and LeBeau, they know how to get it done. And they are trying to bring the fight to Chase Berry as we come around to take 13 to go.
As mentioned before, Wilson has that first win on the season at a super speedway, and a big run now coming from the outside. Wilson is clear, but he's going to elect to stay high, sticking with the 26 LeBeau on the back bumper. Aiden Neese third in line, Chris French right behind there. Then we've got the 43 of David Hill with a little bit of distance to the back. Patrick O'Toole steps out to the outside now. He's going to allow Evan Pienta into the picture, I believe that is. Could be incorrect. No, that is the 88 of James Danforth.
Yeah, that got me once too. He's running the car with Evan Pienta in big letters on the side. Still battling up at the front there with Chase Berry on the inside. The lines haven't really changed. Everyone's holding position except for that 43 machine of David Hill, who's kind of gotten cycled out back of that top lane. We're going to try to go 3 wide here. I'm not sure what's going to happen to Chris French, who's kind of in the middle. This is going to be bad for one of these cars. I'm not sure whether it's going to be bad for Neese or French just yet. Depends on how this line shakes out. 43 tries to get up and form a third lane. It doesn't happen. It looks like the car getting left out of the pack will be Aiden Neese in the 24.
They're still shuffling around there. Neese now on a designated high line here, stuck on the outside. Doesn't look like anybody's going to go to help. He's sticking right to the door of Dylan LeBeau with that side draft. And now's the time to try these maneuvers and see if it works before we get too close to the end. Nearly contact there between the 24 and the 26. That could have been detrimental coming across that start-finish line. Ooh, man, it's tight up here.
That side draft is only working because he's slowing up the entire outside line, kind of dragging him back with him. That has allowed Berry to try to get the lead, although Wilson has the run right now down the straightaway as that 24 starts to fall away. Hard jumping to the outside. 27 of Phillips, we've seen him ride the bottom for most of the day. He'll try to move up to the middle, get something going. Ooh, almost contact as Danforth tried to look up, form a third lane in front of Nice. Won't work for now. We're looking 3 wide a little further back, but no one's committed to it further up the field.
It looked like Nice was going to try to get back to that line, falling in behind Danforth. He's going to get it now, but he still has the 27 of Ryan Phillips there, so he's not quite clear. I don't know how this is working right now in the middle of this pack. Surely one of these cars should have fallen out, but now it looks like we're going to get a full formation of 3 lines. Justin Wilson, Dylan LeBeau left out to dry on the middle line. 27's going to get to the back bumper. We've got a race now as we are inside 10 to go this time by.
Oh, I don't even know. Okay, car around. There goes Benson Weaver.
So the one machine gets it again here. Contact to the inside wall. He still has his hood at least. But, man, what a shakeup from what we've seen all season. It's been clean and green for most of these races. This one not being on the same script. We'll take it back to the overcut instant replay and see what happened to Benson Weaver.
Yeah, this was further back. I think we're lucky this was just a single car incident. No one else really got involved in this. He just tried to cut down in front of the 43 of David Hill. Wasn't clear. A little bit of a 2-car contact there results in 1 car spun into the inside wall, but none of that damage looks too bad and no one else getting caught up in it either. This is going to set up a frantic last 6 laps.
Weaver just going for a spot that didn't quite exist. Got that second tap from David Hill on that left rear and that slight contact to the inside wall. So Weaver's attempt to make it up to the front did not pay out. It could cost him a better finishing position on the night, as he's going to have a lot of aero damage now.
It's going to be rough. Yeah, you see that big hole in the nose on that 43 car as well. We're going to be about 6 or 7 to go here once we get back going. The laps have been ticking down, and that is going to set up a dash to the finish. All out for all of these cars. It is going to be a ton of fun as a couple cars come down in the back to try to fix some damage.
Well, we've got a moment, Sky. Let's take it to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back for green flag coverage all the way to the end of our 65 laps at Talladega for the EPD 169. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wondered why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
In endurance racing, strategy makes the difference between victory and defeat. Introducing Overcut, the all-in-one platform that brings your team together. Manage your teams for iRacing events with seamless Discord integration, stint planning, and real-time intelligent race strategies. Overcut, built by racers for racers.
And we're back live for the EPD 169 as our drivers are making their way down the back stretch here, doubled up once more. We're going to come to green at lap 60 for a 6-lap run all the way to the end here. You can see just how small our field has gotten. It's been one wild ride so far, Sky. Do you have anybody that's playing a favorite for you here?
Well, we've mentioned it a couple times, but those two cars starting back there in third and in sixth are Justin Wilson and Dylan LeBeau. They are the only two drivers still in this field that have a win this season. They know how to get it done. They're going to be up there at the end.
They certainly have the opportunity to do so, but we've got a couple people who've been running up here towards the front of this pack for the last couple of laps, sitting in a prime position for a quick 6-lap sprint to take away a win out of nowhere. Pace car is coming off. Chase Berry will lead us to this green flag once more. Ryan Jones to the outside. Justin Wilson behind Berry. Robert Brobst, second row of the outside line. Geico restart zone coming up. And green flag once more. Let's get it going here to start lap 60.
It's a close jump, but Berry has the advantage for now. Ryan Jones, we know he's been aggressive all race. We know he's gonna be aggressive for the win of this race. And with 6 to go, he's got a decent jump on that top line, but he doesn't quite have the help behind him, and Berry and Wilson will get 1-2 for now.
A 1-car advantage now for the top line until that bottom line starts to tighten back up. We've got a lot of shuffling going on in the back, just trying to find some sort of a draft. Chase Berry, Ryan Jones still door to door for the lead, leaving a whole lot more room between them than I thought they would. Looks like Jones going to close that gap just a little bit on the side to side, try to take advantage of some of the side draft, pull that inside line back. He's going to need it. This time by, it looks like Berry's going to lead the lap with only 5 to go.
5 more times around for someone to make the race-winning move. You can't really win the race with 5 to go, but you can absolutely lose the race with 5 to go. All these drivers need to be on their guard, making sure they're not making any mistakes, because all it can take is one little slip-up, one little lapse of concentration, and it can all go bad, like it almost did for Chris French right there, and someone's around further back. That is the wreck. Ellis Thomas, big hit. Jake Mackey, big hit. Caution is out. We're going to go for an overtime.
Oh my goodness. Cautions, breeding cautions here tonight. We'll go back on the overcut instant replay once more and take a look at what happened to the 13 of Mackey. Coming down the back stretch here. Looks like it's contact just ahead between Sean Mulholland and the 8 of Ellis Thomas. Then Mackey just kind of got caught up into it. We saw Patrick O'Toole up at the front of this pack earlier in the race. He'll get collected in it as well. Let's hop on board with one of these drivers. What do you say?
I think that's a great idea, so we can see an on-board of what happened in this accident. You're looking back. This is, I believe, Sean Mulholland back here in the 39 car. Contact with Ellis Thomas gets him into the fence. He's going to make it out pretty okay. Ellis Thomas. Oh, well, he's not going to make it out pretty okay anymore. Ellis Thomas is going to make it out even worse.
That was a 4 wide situation. I didn't even notice that the first time through. Bring it back up. Corner exit of 2. Coming down the back stretch, you see Mulholland get a blimp view here. Mulholland has a good run on Rapp. Rapp checks up for the 88 at Danforth. Then it's on between Ellis Thomas and Sean Mulholland. Mackey tries to avoid it, gets collected by the 31. The 31 nearly collected by Mulholland after the contact again with Thomas. Man, a lot of potential drivers that could have won this race from the back of the pack being taken out officially. I know Jake Mackey a couple weeks ago ended up winning one of the official sessions of the full-length Daytona 500. Was coming into this race with high hopes here tonight. Try to make something happen.
That's another points good driver who's good up in the points, having a terrible night right now.
Oh,
there are a
look
couple
at how
guys.
it's crab walking, Sky.
Oh my goodness, he is doing a full diagonal. He's leaving tire tracks the whole way down pit road. I don't think he's getting that thing back out in any sort of drivable state. Just looking at like the top 12 in points coming into this race. Jacob Bradley did not take the green flag. Braxton DeWeese, Levi Cox out of the race. Chris Smith has been kind of hanging out towards the back of the cars who are still in the race with damage. Johnny Rapp in the same boat. Evan Pienta came into this race in 6th. He's out of the race. A lot of other cars that have been having issues up here. Dylan LeBeau and Justin Wilson are still doing good, but Jake Mackey is out. Ellis Thomas was just involved in that accident. I think he's out. The only other driver up here that I think is having a good day is Chase Berry, who came into this race in 12th and is now looking to try to win it. It is going to be an overtime once we get this back going, because with 3 to go, the lights are still on the pace car. That is going to lead to our first green-white checkered attempt, and it is going to be frantic.
Apologize for that there, Sky. I accidentally muted my mic somehow, but I was saying Evan Pienta actually never did make the start of this race, so now that we've both made mention of Pienta being here, it's we can make fun of ourselves now. But the sponsor of tonight's race, Evan Pienta Designs 169, not making the field here tonight. Probably we'll look back at this broadcast and think maybe he should have been here. This is a good race for anybody at this moment. Again, our top 5 drivers have some of the most positions gained on the field. Chase Berry with 25, Rye Jones with 18, Justin Wilson with 20, then Dylan LeBeau with 20 as well. Robert Brobst, the only one who's collected just 5 positions since starting this race. Now, this time by, pace car lights will be off. We'll get doubled up once more. Just like Laura had said in the chat, it is now shootout time. And frantic is indeed an understatement.
Evan Pienta is here with us in spirit, between Evan Pienta Designs being the sponsor of this race and also the 88 car of James Danforth, who did come into this running around 9th or 10th in points. He's running that Evan Pienta Designs car. He's got it up in 8th for this green-white checkered attempt. We're only going to do 1 green-white checkered attempt. So if we get a caution on the first lap, that'll be the end of the race. These drivers are going to have every incentive to get up to the front of the field and get up there in a hurry, because if we get a quick caution, they're not going to have another shot at it.
And just a quick rundown here, just in case you don't know what the green-white checkered attempt is. I know most of you probably already do, but for the folks that might not, we're going to come to this green flag 1 lap around. White flag is out. Everything is official after then. Only having the 1 green-white checkered attempt will limit us to, just like Sky had mentioned, if a yellow comes out on this first lap, the race is over. The field essentially stands still at that point, and that is the finishing order that we will see pending any post-race penalties. So we'll see if these drivers can put it together here, as we've seen cautions breed cautions a couple times tonight. See if we can get a good 3-lap run here to finish this thing out. Rye Jones on the outside once more. Chase Berry on the inside. Justin Wilson already all over the back bumper, the 46. Robert Brobst will be looking to claim a podium here as well. On the outside, looking in, sitting in that fourth position, second row on the outside. Again, anybody's race at this point. Mackey's still crab walking at the back of the field. Green flag is out, and Barry with a great jump. Justin Wilson all over the bumper. Dylan LeBeau, he's going to move up to the outside line immediately behind Jones.
Here comes Rye Jones, though, looking on that outside line. Got the push from LeBeau behind. We know he's going to be aggressive. We'll see what he does to try to get the win of this race. Robert Brobst is going to get a run on the inside. He'll join them third in line behind Barry and Wilson. Can he push them to the front? We're going 3 lanes because we've got Aiden Neese on the top entering turn 3.
So that's going to be Neese, the 88 of James Danforth, and the 52 of Johnny Rapp. It's 3 by 3 by 3. Coming across out of turn number 4. We're going to see that white flag wave. Green-white checkered attempt completed here. And that inside line with a big run. Ryan Jones not where he wants to be right now. He's going to get as close as possible, get that side draft. Nearly contact behind between LeBeau and Neese. Right now, it's all about Chase Berry in the lead. Justin Wilson right behind. Will we see Wilson make a move coming down the back stretch? No, we will not. Robert Brobst, he'll look to the outside here. Falls right back in line, the 81 of Scotty Sobczyk. First time on the track with the Spark Racing League. Sitting in fourth. Through turns 3 and 4, still side by side for the third and fourth row. Now's the time for Justin Wilson. Will he make a move here? Is Chase Berry going to take home the win here tonight? Wilson still right behind. Ryan Jones making up some ground here. Nobody makes a move. It's going to be Chase Berry, and the big one happens after. That checkered flag waves. The 46 taking home the win, and Justin Wilson staying right on the bumper. And it is all out everything here now. Multiple cars flipping. Chris Fritsch goes for an absolute roller coaster of a ride. That is one way to finish a race. Chase Berry couldn't be more happy right now with that finish.
He's going to be the only driver who receives the winner's check, and I think he's going to be the only driver that doesn't end up having to pay a damage check as well. He's gotten out of here with a scot-free race car. What a drive from that 46.
The body and chassis team for the 46 are going to be extremely happy picking up a win here tonight and not having to work on the car after the race. Here comes the 46 now for that burnout he's been waiting for forever. The 46 sends it sideways now down on pit exit. Sky, we haven't quite done it this year. What do you say we rate the burnout ability of Chase Berry? Unless he's just going to drive backwards, which it looks like he might.
He might just drive backwards. We're going to see. It's like it's kind of an alternate take on the Polish victory lap right there.
I mean,
he's going the right way, just in reverse.
This is a first for me, but at the same time, we have that sort of a relationship with the Spark Racing League that they like to play practical jokes on us. So I'm not too surprised. I'm a little taken back by what I'm seeing, but hey, you get to celebrate in your style whenever you win a race, and Chase Berry is doing exactly that.
Tomater would be proud.
So we'll send it to a quick commercial break, then we'll follow up with our post-race interviews and finishing results. I'm sure by the time we get back, Chase Berry will still be trying to complete this lap. So stick around, we'll have some post-race coverage for you momentarily.
Hey partner, I'm Barry, your pocket crew chief, the very first AI-powered mechanic for sim racing. Got a car that's a little loose or tight? Just tell me how it's handling, and I'll whip up instant setup recommendations just for you. Want me to get even more precise? Snap a picture of your setup, and I'll fine-tune it to perfection. And hey, I'm not just about giving orders. I'll explain why every adjustment matters, so you can really understand your ride. I'll even teach you the science behind the setup. Ever wonder why the track bar is so important? I've got the answer. With Pocket Crew Chief, I'll make you smarter, faster, and race ready. So what are we waiting for? Let's build to win.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
In endurance racing, strategy makes the difference between victory and defeat. Introducing Overcut, the all-in-one platform that brings your team together. Manage your teams for iRacing events with seamless Discord integration, stint planning, and real-time intelligent race strategies. Overcut, built by racers for racers.
And we're back here live for our post-race coverage of the EPD 169. Get right into our final results here. As we already saw, Chase Berry taking home the win for the 46 team. Justin Wilson stays right behind and pushes Berry to the win. The 91 of Ryan Jones made a decent comeback there right as that white flag started to come out. He's able to crawl back up to the third position. Robert Brobst will take the 5 machine to a 4th place finish, followed up by the 26 of Dylan LeBeau. Scotty Sobzik with a great outcome here in his first race with the Spark Racing League, finishing out in 6th. Aiden Neese will take home the 7th position on the night, followed up by the 28 of Chris Smith, the 88 of James Danforth, and the 52 of Johnny Rapp will round out your top 10.
And following on back from there, 11th tonight will be Chris French in the 53. The 1 of Benson Weaver recovers from a late spin to bring it home 12th with Steve Vest in the 60 in P13. 31 of Jacob Phillips is going to be 14th. 27 of Ryan Phillips is going to be 15th. And the 43 of David Hill will come home in 16th. Sean Mulholland in the 39, 17th tonight with Max Cost in the 63, 18th, and the 13 of Jake Mackey crab walks it across the line for P19. Last car in the top 20, 5 laps down, is Patrick O'Toole in the 44.
To bring up the rest of our drivers here, some of them not able to finish the race, but Ellis Thomas will take home the 21st position, followed up by Peter Stewart in the 9. Braxton DeWeese, one of our drivers with an early exit, as well as Rob Liedl in the 80 in 24th. Jay Heishman takes home 25th, followed up by the 54 of Levi Cox. Laura Weissman, we saw her up at the front of the pack. Early exit for the 84 brings home a 27th place finish. Zachary Mitchell in the 23 takes home 28th. That's going to bring up the 11 of Brian Brobst in 29th, and the 4 of Nathan Gentry in 30th. Only 2 more cars to go, and that's the 42 of Paul Thomas. He did not make it through that first caution with an early exit than Jacob Bradley, who we never did see on the track tonight. Let's move right on down to pit lane here as we've got interviews on deck, starting out with our 3rd place finisher, Ryan Jones in the 91 machine. Get a word with Ryan Jones here momentarily. We'll get him on the intercom here. Let's see. Here we go. Ryan Jones, you got Sky and Logan up here in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, Ryan, we saw you making some incredible moves early on in the race, right around those first 2 cautions. We saw you moving it 3 wide within the first 10 laps. It obviously paid off for you here, making up 17 positions from your 20th starting spot on the night to get to 3rd. What more did you need to come home with the win here tonight?
Honestly, nothing. That was a win. That was a win for all of us. Chase Berry, Justin Wilson, myself, you know, teammates working together. And I got to give actually probably the biggest credit to Dylan LeBeau finishing fifth. He worked with us as well. He could have finished fourth or first with all of us. We worked so hard to stay together and be up front, and we just wanted one of us to win. And happy to give Chase a wedding present, getting the win for sure. And really, all I needed more on if I were to get the win was just some more help on the top. You know, it was just Dylan pushing me there at the end, and he gave it his everything for that. So to have just me and him pushing by ourselves in the middle lane while everybody was trying to take it 3 wide on us, and to still come out third, and for him to come out fifth out of that, I don't think there's nothing better than that. So overall, that was a lot of fun.
Overall, just a important race for the team. As you mentioned there, Chase Berry taking home the win. He came into this race 12th in points, with a bunch of our points leaders not making it to the end of the race. So that's going to move Chase up quite a few spots. So congratulations on the teamwork there. Justin Wilson's going to benefit as well with that second place finish. So, I mean, is that really just about it? Just happy for an overall great team race if you took all 3 podium spots.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could have flip-flopped around all 3, 4 of us, and we would have been happy regardless. I'm way out of the points. You know, I know Justin may still have a small chance, but he's also been in a handful of wrecks as well. So, I mean, it's been rough this season for us, but to run up front and work together and just to have fun, that's what makes it special. And kind of give you a sigh of relief on these plate tracks that were insane with how aggressive the driving was today. And so yeah, to come out 1, 2, 3, 5 with all 4 of us, that's awesome. And we can move on to, I believe it's Las Vegas, with the big smiles on our faces.
Las Vegas and Atlanta, season coming to a close, but Rye Jones, driver of the 91 driven Bay Life Chevy Camaro, who do you have to thank for your 3rd place finish here tonight?
Well, obviously I've already said it, but yeah, thank the whole team I mentioned, but got to thank you guys for putting on the show for us. Can't wait to watch the replay. It looks like it was pretty intense, so excited for that. Thank all the sponsors of the league and all the league admins for putting this stuff together. So had a lot of fun and looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Ryan. We'll see you next week in Vegas.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Ryan Jones with that 3rd place finish, 4 laps led on the night. Saw him up in the front battling for quite a while, back and forth. But Sky, I believe you've caught up with our 2nd place finisher, Justin Wilson.
Hey, Justin, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. My bad.
You're good. Congrats on P2. What was your strategy at the end there? Did you just want to push you and Chase out front and see what happened?
Yeah, I mean, kind of returning the favor in a way. Me and Chase worked together. He pushed me at Daytona for the win, so it was my turn to return the favor, man.
All right, well, tell me about how this sets you up in the points entering the last 2 races, because so many drivers in front of you, Jacob Bradley, Levi Cox, Braxton DeWeese, had absolutely horrible days. You're looking a lot better now.
Oh, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I genuinely do not care where I'm at in the points. I'm doing this for fun. I've wrecked in almost every race this season, which is very unusual for me, but I'm just here just having a good time, man. We'll just see how we end up at the end, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you didn't wreck tonight. Is it stressful trying to get through them?
I don't know, man. Super speedways is my bread and butter, man. I've always done good there. I've always had great strategy, worked good with the team, and we always find ourselves in the top 2, top 3, always on the last few laps of this race. So no stress at all, man. No stress at all. Now, Chase, on the other hand, might say otherwise, because usually he's ramped up to 11.
I was going to say, you got Daytona earlier this season. You're 2nd here tonight. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Oh, man, yeah. You guys putting the show on. Thank Johnny Rapp, man, Chase Berry, Ryan Jones, Randy for race control, the whole Spark League, man. And, yeah, man, give Chase a hard time in the interview, man.
All right, well, congrats on P2 tonight, Justin Wilson. And with that, we are going to throw it over to Logan, because I believe he has caught up with Chase Berry, our race winner tonight.
I'm just at a loss for words for what just transpired. But anyways, we do have Chase Berry down here in winner's circle, driver of the 46, 24 laps led. You started 27th. You had the most positions gained on the night, coming away with the win. Chase, what do you have to say, buddy? The floor is yours.
Oh wow, that was fun. That was actually pretty freaking fun. That was exciting.
I man, a few words I see. Well, you got a congratulatory a wedding present from what we've been told. So, congrats on that, first of all, and taking home the win. But Chase, we saw you all the way at the back of the field to start this race. How was the drive through 26 other cars to get here?
It was pretty not say hard, but it wasn't easy. Like it just those big wrecks at the beginning of the race. Like I've always started at the back. Obviously, pretty much every week. It doesn't really matter. But like mostly at the plate tracks. Like I know me, Justin, Dylan, and Ryan. We all really work together fairly great. But I just like riding in the back and just chilling. And then what makes me pretty good, I think I do really well getting on the pit road or green flag pit stops. So we was able to make, position myself, got on the green flag pit stops, make up a ton of ground, and got hooked up with Ryan and Justin, and then we just worked together from then. And then,
well, you came into this race sitting 12th in the point standings with a driver who did not take the field at the green flag. It's going to move you up quite a few spots. And Chase, a couple more good races here, you're right in the running for a championship in the Spark Racing League. What does that mean to you at this point, buddy?
It'd have been all right. I missed 2 races already. I missed Auto Club and then Charlotte. I think if I'd have been at those races, I think I could have a shot. But I know with my schedule, I don't know if I'm gonna have be here hit or miss. 'Cause I'll start playing softball now. So I don't know if I'll be here next week. That's why I missed last week and all that good stuff. So or week before. So if I'm here, awesome, we'll make a run at it. If I'm not, then oh well. At least I got a win before the year is over.
That you did. Well, that's a great segue into just letting you have the floor here, Chase. Who do you have to thank putting the 46 up here on the top step of the podium?
You guys for putting it on. I heard you guys do a great job. Broadcasting and all that good stuff. Justin for pushing the crap out of me. We always seem to be up front at the end of the race, me and Justin pushing. Ryan and Dylan working well with each other. And that's about it. And now my wife, well, for letting me do this now. Apparently I gotta thank her now.
That's the most important one to thank, let me tell you, buddy. Well, congratulations on taking home the EPD 169 here at Talladega. Go celebrate with your team, Chase, and hopefully we'll see you in the next coming races to finish out the season.
All right. Yeah, it was fun. All right. TTYL.
Have a good one, buddy. We'll see you.
Bye.
That will conclude our interviews with our podium finishers. And once again, just a fantastic race. We saw quite a few cautions, which we don't typically see here on our Wednesday nights, but that is super speedway racing after all. Sky, what were your thoughts looking back on tonight's race?
Man, we had a really good one. It was a really exciting finish at the end of it. They were tight racing all the way through. I don't think there was a point where they were single file at all. We were always at least 2, sometimes 3 wide going for spots. I think it turned out really well tonight.
It most certainly did. As mentioned, we go to Las Vegas next week. Completely different track. We'll see which driver can tame the deserts. We'll see what the heat's going to be like on these cars. The tire wear will be a factor. Fuel will be a factor. We'll have to wait one more week until we find out, with only 2 races left in the Pocket Crew Chief Winter Series. Well, if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another race. And for everybody behind the scenes at Spark, Johnny Rapp, and all the other admins, our race controller, Randy, every week dedicating his time to be here to help us out. And for everybody behind the scenes at V-Speed, Bradley Cooper, you saw him in the chat quite a bit tonight. Adam Baker in the chat quite a bit tonight. Bradley Cooper, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, all behind the scenes. Of course, our co-host, Sky Shrek. I've been Logan Threlkeld. Good night, and we will see you in the desert.